What do you do in the middle of a movie season where there are no movies? Well, you re-release one of the biggest, highest grossing movies of all time with 11 extra minutes of more fun stuff. Hey there guys, my name is Tom. Welcome back to my movie channel and thank you very much for joining me for this, my review of the brand new, well, not really the brand new, it's Spider-Man No Way Home with 11 extra minutes of footage they called the more fun stuff version. And if you guys know anything about me, you know that I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I just did my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time, and spoiler alert, Spider-Man No Way Home is on that list. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about this, and not just about No Way Home and the re-release, but also talking about extended cuts in general. I'm not a big extended cut guy, but given that Spider-Man No Way Home has a very special place in my heart, if you know me and you've seen my channel for any period of time now, you know that I love this movie very, very deeply, and so I will take any opportunity to go back and see it in the theater. But also, given the era of movies that we're in right now, especially in a post-Snyder Cut world, I think the perception around, extended editions and different versions of a movie, there's a perception out there that, well, the Snyder Cut, it was this completely other version of the movie. And so I think a lot of people go into these extended editions thinking, oh, there's going to be a whole new storyline added to the movie, or there's going to be an extra, the movie's going to be different, totally different somehow. And it's like, no, that's not what it is. And that's not what the more fun stuff version is. This was something I was excited about, mainly because, and the expectation I think a lot of people are going to have going into this is that, well, there's more stuff with Tobey and Andrew. And because one of the best parts about No Way Home was the three Peters interacting, not even fighting, but just talking to each other, sharing a brain, that whole thing. Their dynamic was so good. Their chemistry was so great. And so a lot of people, including myself, were very excited to see how much more of those are we going to get. And unfortunately, not much. This version of the movie, I don't know that I would say, and I put it in the thumbnail, is this version more fun? I don't know that I would say it's more fun overall. I like this version. I still think the original theatrical release is the best version of the movie. There's some nice extra moments. It's not like, oh, there's a whole 11-minute chunk of new stuff, and when that 11 minutes comes in, and it's just 11 minutes of all new stuff. No. It's 30 seconds here, 20 seconds there, a minute extra here, so it's spread out throughout the film. And there is some extra juicy nuggets in there. A couple more comedic beats, like there's more with the Department of Damage Control interrogating Peter. There's a couple of great gags in there. You get a little bit more about Flash Thompson, and you do get, and I am gonna spoil the more fun stuff edition because, there's nothing really to spoil. So if you haven't seen it yet, you don't want to know what's in it, just go and add this video to your favorites and come back and watch it later. But there is like an extra 30 seconds with Matt Murdock representing Happy. And that's a funny gag as well. I really like that extra scene, so stuff like that probably could have been kept in the movie, in the original release. Because, not having it in the original version, it doesn't take away from the original version, but having it in this version doesn't really make the movie any worse either. Nor does it make it super 10 times better. They're all accents to an already great movie. They're just these little extra nuggets that we have that are kind of cool. Like the extra Matt Murdock moment is funny. But my big issue with this film, with this version of the film, I should say, is that I think the largest chunk of new stuff in this movie is Betty Brant interviewing on a purposely bad green screen with purposely bad video quality, interviewing the teachers and Peter and Ned about the revelation that Peter Parker's now Spider-Man, and she's trying to get to the bottom of, well, who knew what and all this stuff. And it's meant to be played for comedy because they shot it purposely with bad green screen, like a high school student would do. But it's awful. And this goes on, it must be like a 2.5-minute scene. And it just goes on and on and on. And it is not funny, at all. It is not funny. I don't know why it's in the movie. Because had they taken that scene out of the movie, I would say that the more fun stuff edition is pretty much on par with the original. because anything else that they added back into the movie in this version, you know, they're little extra beats here and there. You know, the pacing probably wouldn't be as tight overall, but this chunk, like, and where it's placed in the movie too, it's a very awkward spot, and it just throws the entire pace of the movie off. And if it was at some point in the original version, I'm glad they cut it. They should have just kept it out of this as well. And for those wondering, no, you don't get the Tobey Maguire versus Green Goblin thing that we see in some behind-the-scenes promos. I know a lot of people were really excited and wondering whether we would see that. I have a feeling that scene, that shot that we see in particular, was not an actual scene and more probably just a camera test or a stunt test, and they just happened to use the Tobey Maguire costume. It might have been a scene, I don't know, but it wasn't in the movie. And that was something I was excited to see as well. But the star of this show, the extra new stuff that we have, is the best part of it to me was the additional conversation. So you know when you have the three Peters, they're on the scaffolding, it's before all the villains turn up, and they're talking about Tobey Maguire and his webs and all this stuff. There's so much more to that conversation, and I can tell that even in the extended edition, there was still more of that conversation that still got cut out. But the stuff that's in there, it's so funny. Does the conversation go on for a bit too long? Yes. But it's so quippy. It's so funny. It's so smart and clever. And again, their chemistry, the reason that works so well, they don't even need to be in an action scene. The three of them just sitting there talking about being Spider-Man is so entertaining that it doesn't matter about anything else. And Andrew Garfield, and I will not say the line because I cannot do it justice. Andrew Garfield has a line at the end of that conversation that I thought I was going to lose a lung. I was laughing so hard because I was not ready for it. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And really, that is the conversation that I think I paid to see. Like this time around, I'm like, come on, man. You've given me this really shitty scene with Betty Brant in the high school. Give me some extra meaty, you know, Tobey Maguire, Andrew stuff. And that conversation is so funny. It's worth the ticket price alone. I just thought it was hilarious. So overall, do I think the No Way Home More Fun Stuff edition is more fun than the original? No, I do not. I will get this version if I can ever buy it because I will watch that extended scene of the three Peters talking over and over again. And again, it's all just comedy stuff, you know, it's all just comedy stuff. It's all just extra gags. You know, there's not a lot of extra emotional beats. Like I was kind of wishful thinking. I was kind of hoping to see more about, you know, Andrew and Tobey talk about, you know, where they've been in the years since we've seen their last movies, but there's no more really of that. And that was a big thing on my wish list. But yeah, the More Fun Stuff version, the post-credit scene, by the way, is it's bad. The No Way Home More Fun Stuff version isn't better than the theatrical version, the original version, which is, you know, one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I love No Way Home so much. And so, you know, at the end of the day, this was fun. There was some extra stuff, but I think if you take out that awful interview scene, again, I wanted to walk out at that scene. I was like, why is that there? You know, it felt like, well, we need to, because if you take that out, you lose 2.5 minutes. Then it's like, well, then we get 8 extra minutes of new stuff. And I think you needed to be, you know, 10 extra minutes for it to feel like it was worth it to people. So anyway, guys, have you guys seen the No Way Home More Fun Stuff edition? What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't been here before, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that notifications bell so you never miss out on my take on all things movies. Once again, guys, my name is Tom. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.